You ever have one of those moments when everything you thought was solid starts to crumble? Yeah, that was me. Marcus Evans, just a regular guy happily married, living my life until my world flipped upside down. I lost my wife, Elena, to a battle that no one prepares for. It was the kind of loss that tears you apart, the kind that takes your breath away, the kind that leaves you standing there in an empty house surrounded by memories, feeling every ounce of despair. And to make matters worse, I was about to lose my home too. Picture this, I'm standing outside my house staring at the eviction, notice the cold winds howling like they're mourning with me. Right next to me, there's this woman, Sarah. She's holding on to three little lives, her triplets visibly trembling in the early morning bite of winter. They're getting kicked out too, just like I am, all of us, facing a future that feels bleak, empty. They were the same age my son would be now. The heartbreak nearly crushed me. And then something pulled at me, massive and undeniable. It was that protective instinct it awakened as I watched Sarah plead with the bank representative, her voice shaking but resolute. I remember the coldness in his eyes, the utter indifference to her situation. And me, I just couldn't stand by. I stepped up, maybe a little impulsively, and said, "You know what, why don't you and your kids stay at my brother-in-law's cabin until you get back on your feet?" Looking back, I can't say why I did it. Maybe I just saw another person fighting to keep their family safe, and I got it. I really got it. We were both wrestling the same demons, just wearing different masks. Here I was, a guy worn down by grief, suddenly tangled up in this messy, chaotic life, full of three rambunctious kids and one fierce mother determined to protect them. As we started collecting their things, I noticed how Sarah moved through the house. She was so familiar with everything, every corner of the living room and the little details. Something tugged at my memory, a flicker of recognition. And then it hit me, she had ties to Elena. They used to work for the same company, Richmond Financial. Sarah opened up about cleaning houses for a living and about the documents she stumbled upon while working at Richmond. She had photocopies, evidence of some seriously shady practices. They were like breadcrumbs leading us to a dark path nobody wanted to tread. As we talked, sharing bits and pieces of our tragic stories, I felt this remarkable alliance grow stronger. We shared our anger, our hurt, and suddenly we weren't just two people who stumbled into each other's lives. We were a team ready to dive headfirst into the fight. The more we uncovered, the more we learned about Richmond Financial. They weren't just a bank. They were predators playing dirty tricks against families like ours, denying treatments, hounding single parents, all while fattening their wallets. Sarah came across a flash drive named Operation Justice. The irony wasn't lost on us, was it? But soon this drive became our pocket of hope, holding the key to confront the giants. We decided to go public, an idea that looked so simple in the warmth of our talks, but felt monumental in reality. We reached out to a lawyer named David, who frankly was brilliant. He took one look at those documents and said, "You guys are sitting on a gold mine. This could expose deep systemic discrimination." Our plan was ambitious. We wanted to take down Richmond at their own event, a press conference held by their CEO, Richard Sterling, the very man who was making decisions from his high tower, oblivious to the devastation caused below. On that day, Sarah and I stood together in the crowd, tension bubbling like soda before the cap comes off. When the press conference kicked off, everything seemed normal, dull almost, until suddenly, bam! Out of nowhere, a virus started hacking into Richmond's systems. News breaks on the screen displaying Elena's findings, everything she had connected, the denial of treatments, linked directly to the bank's practices. I can still see Sterling's face shifting from smug confidence to sheer panic as the truths unfurled in real time. It was surreal, like a movie, a rise from ashes. The FBI showed up shortly after carting off Sterling as witnesses shared their stories of loss and grief, all connected back to the corrupt entity. And for me, standing there watching the chaos that was once my worst nightmare come crashing down, I felt something lift. I confronted Sterling face to face, daring him to look me in the eye. "You took her from me," I said, every word laced with anger. "Elena deserved a chance, a fair fight. You denied that." Things didn't end dramatically. There were no crazed chase scenes. Instead, life moved forward with Richmond collapsing to its knees and the community coming together. We turned that former bank into something worthwhile, a community center dedicated to helping those ravaged by their greed. Both Sarah and I took leading roles implementing programs to help families like ours. Even Sterling got a slice of humility sentenced to community service at the center he once opposed. And there we were rebuilding not just our lives, but the lives of so many others, fighting for them every single day. We became more than survivors of our stories. We were catalysts for change. And through all of this, Elena's courage lit a fire in us. It was her fight that drew me to Sarah, that pushed us to speak where many stayed silent. Now we lead a national task force against systemic financial discrimination, turning a tragedy into a powerful movement for change. So here's the thing: loss, it turns out, can morph into something beautiful if you let it. It grows into a legacy of healing, redemption, and hope. So I leave you with this. What does justice truly mean when it's wrapped in loss? Can we change the narrative from revenge to healing, or will we always cling to our grudges? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I want to know your stories, your truths. Let's talk about it.